In Game 7 of 11 CSGOs, Malbuka lands North Outpost Enclave. Now, landing at an OXR HQ, however, as you can see, the replays are quite bad and you can't even see what he's standing on. Tries to get tagged out the sky and he does successfully. However, from here, he's not able to get any kills, but this is good for Surge, and he can then just loot up freely while his other teammates go and complete their looting paths elsewhere. Now, once they have looted up, they end up doing Surge training like every other team, and as you can see here, you're going to notice something with Malbuka. This man gets knocked all the time. Now, this is good because it minimises the amount of heals which they need to use, and the only downside is other teams are getting a lot of free Surge. So as you can see, Malbuka is healing up, he's using his shields, and then he's farming Surge. He gets decent tags, gets 88, and this is something they all do. They all get knocked quite often because it minimises the amount of heals that they need to use. But as you can see, Malbuka is using heals, so I'm not entirely sure what the game plan is. But as you can see, the other member, Havoc, ends up getting knocked, and then Malbuka gets knocked again, and you can just see it's what their game plan is. Now, like every other team in the LAN, if you're on top of height, you'll probably win your game. Now, Malbuka's team isn't, so they go and they chop out height. As you can see right here, they all get chopped out and are able to get knocks onto certain players. From there, they go for height, getting their siphon, and now they can control height for the entire game. There, as you can see right here. So Malbuka is running out of mats, so Pings drops some more mats so that he can continue on height and talk all the way to circle. And they just look back and see if they can get any tags. Something very important. Now, all pros do this because it's perfect for end games. As you can see, they're dominating height. Now, Malbuka drops down a layer. Obviously, this is important for keeping height. You don't want to be too far up, otherwise if you get chopped out, you'll just die to fall damage. Now, he does have the crash pad, but sometimes it doesn't work. Now, he does get chopped out here, but luckily, because he's not too high above, he doesn't take any fall damage and immediately is back on height with the rest of his trio. Now, they pop up his and are looking down, looking to see if they can get any players. Now they go down a layer, and as you can see, they're just looking back constantly. Now, they see Mr. Savage in zone, their replay files are a bit buggy, but they're just looking and seeing if they can get any kills, and just stopping teams from rotating into zone. So from here, all they're doing is the exact same thing. Now, it's not the most fashionable, it's not the coolest thing in the world, but it's definitely the most effective way to win the game. Get a knock onto Canada, and they're still topping in, and then they pop Fizz, and then right here, what they're gonna do is one of Malbuka's members, Havoc, drops, and so does he, and he managed to just then go from here and kill every single other player in the lobby, grabbing the win, killing Sharp, and then at the very end, killing the final two players, Pix, and winning the game. Pix, Demus, and Dom land at Rolling Blossom Farm. Yes, I know that's a weird name, but from here, because they're uncontested, because no team's gonna think to actually land here for their main POI, they're uncontested and can get all the loot. This is quite good because they might not have the best reputation or spawn, but what they can do is they can get set up for the rest of the game or spawn, getting all the mats, mobility, guns, heals, etc. Now, one of the biggest downsides to land at a place like this and the biggest tournament in the world is you could be below Surge, and they are in this game. So as you can see here, they're immediately pressuring a trio to try and get damage so that they can get their Surge up so that they don't get killed by a Storm Surge. As you can see, we did kill a player there and are able to get out of Storm Surge, and from there they can peacefully top without having to rush and kill any players that they need to. The one thing that this trio does best, especially Pix, is they do not waste any mats when they are topping. Every single one is precisely placed where it exactly needs to be, and so they minimise the amount of materials that they need to use, but still get the job done efficiently and effectively. As you can see, they're using the Fizz, and they don't waste all their materials. And this is something which people new to the game might end up doing, wasting a bunch of materials when topping. And as you can see from here, they're able to look back on any teams and try to kill any players that they need to, or if they just want to, they can go through and see out the rest of the game. However, they don't, and they are then having to rotate. So again, be efficiently using materials, don't use too many, and they're on low ground, but still the topping is really good, and so a lot of teams probably aren't going to fight them, considering they're also closest to the circle and most teams are already fighting another team already. The right here Pix finds a team lacking, and there's only 2 players and not 3. Now the other 2 members of his duo, Dom and Demus, go and pressure him, but Pix is then topping closer to circle for them to come back when they need to, and as you can see they're able to very easily right here, because no team is able to deal with them because they're already being bothered by another team. Of why you need to always be paying attention in endgames. So as you can see, the topping and are pressuring teams. Now they end up getting shot from behind, so they have to go and talk through. Obviously the zone's moving, they use stairs and are able to kill Muds here, knowing that then Muds is alone. Now all of them have good loot because Pix only had a Grey Sentinel, which isn't the best gun to be having in an endgame. So as you can see from here, they're topping efficiently, they're on low ground. This is what they're best at. Dom gets knocked, Pix comes back and goes and revives him along with Demus, and then vehicle fails are a bit buggy, but as you can see they end up topping all the way around teams, and the teams are trapped. Sphinx gets knocked and then it gets busted eventually, and from there all it takes is them just shooting up at height, and because height is in the storm most of the time, they're just taking storm damage, and from here they end up just going and winning the game quite easily. As you can see, dying to his own right here, winning the game. Seti, Yabko and Panzer land at Kappa Kappa factory uncontested by any teams and are able to surge trade when they have to, despite it being very annoying. It is the meta. So Seti lands at the back of the POI and immediately goes, grabs the shield pot, and then grabs the mat and the ammo, starts farming that, and then now he's got a shotgun, crashes, and that shield pot which he picked up at the very start, and then he gets the medkit. Yabko, after getting a hyperburst pistol, gets a sweeper shotgun, and he is in the main area at Kappa Kappa. From there he drops his hyperburst pistol, hammer AR, and then Hansa at the very start is surge trading while capturing the flag, looking to see if he can get any tags onto any teams all the way off spawn. And overall, Chani, well, he's looking for it, but he ends up going and getting the flag, which is good for the entire team. And from here he gets the DMR, which is the best for surge training, and he is able to get some damage onto the player 87 right there. Now just like Pix, Demus and Dom, in this game they win by always just rotating dead side, which is better when you're not as good as everyone else in the lobby. Now I'm not saying that these players aren't, because they are still playing at a very high level, and they're able to kill Moustache right here, one of the best players in EU. Now from here they're going and they're just rotating dead side where no other teams are, and they're looking to avoid storm damage and breaking through everything that they need to, and then breaking any walls in front of them. And as you can see from here, what they do is they just create a ton of space. Now they don't stay in storm for too long obviously, because they only can take so much. Since Seti only has Flowberry of his, you can't actually take much more storm damage, it only can be in storm for 6 seconds. From here it's just infinite amount of space, and then they're looking up at height on any other layers above them since they are on the ultimate low ground. Now from here they try to get the first one Pix, but they can't, and so they're looking up at height trying to get any damage. Then player Dom comes in, ends up getting knocked and killed, and now Seti has a slip juice so that he can take more damage and storm if he needs to, and they're just looking up at heights, bolts and blocks are above, and they end up getting knocked as you can see, and then thrusted. From there it's saw to Demus, who can't win, and then walks on ultimate height, just gets sprayed out, and from there ends up dropping down, and then in the tree he ends up getting chopped, and then that's how they win the game. Now in game 10, Moses Trio wins the game. Now, I'm only going to be spectating Muzz until he dies. Because in my opinion, Muzz is definitely one of the best players in the world to watch. And I would say that he's the best individual player on NA entirely. Now, what he does is he lands at the chest at the very bottom left corner of resistance space, throws the launch pad which he gets over into the middle and goes and captures the flag, managing to get all these mats. Then in the end game, as you can see, he's going and he's pressuring with his shield to try and get any kills he can, because they are also for low surge. Now they do get a above surge, and from here Muzz is able to get a knock right here onto Aegis, and after splashing right here, now weekly fails are bugged again, and it's just showing Muzz with stairs out all the time, which is going to be really annoying, but you're going to have to ignore it. From here, they end up topping through, and now they're looking back, trying to get any tags they can, and Muzz is one of the best aimers in the world, so he'd be perfect for this job. However, he's not able to actually see any tags until here, and now you can't get any tags, and it's important not to get tunnel vision, as I discussed in part 1 of this. If you get tunnel vision, you will get jumped in the end game by another team, so they can't go and just pressure one specific team, they have to go and pressure more. And right here, as you can see, Muzz is going back and forth, looking to pressure any team he can, and he does have the best aim in the world, naturally, which is why he's able to do that. Now you can do this on anywhere, not just high ground or high mid ground. You can do this even on the low ground. As you can see, what Muzz is doing here is he's going and shooting and able to knock Malbuka. Now, that's one member of their shield gone, as they're able to then go and get the first onto Malbuka and get the second. Now they repeat this process every time, and this is something they're doing all the time, constantly sprinting around and looking to see if they can get any tags onto anyone or just kill a player entirely. Now as you can see right here, they're pressuring Seti and Yapko, and are they able to get a knock? Well, unfortunately they can't, and then they have to switch their attention, because if they get tunnel vision they can't. They try again and it doesn't work. So from here, they're just looking at any teams rotating on their backside. So now they go and rotate around, and now they're at the front side, and they chop down, and then they go and they get this player killed, and from here they're getting sprayed by our people, so they have to defend very well, and they're actually able to defend very well for the most part, and they're getting shot by multiple teams, and they do get a bit of damage taken, but considering they're getting shot by like 3 teams, yeah, it's not too bad at all. Now Fear Shadow is very close to dying compared to everyone else, but Muzz is splashing and he's doing very well, and they're rotating up the mountain, which is something very difficult to do in the end games. Now, from here, they're able to just go look and see if they can kill anyone. They're sticking together, and there's a team on height, which is something which makes it very difficult for them to win the game from here. So it's quite impressive, and this is exactly how they're able to do it. So they used all the builds they have, and all the builds which have already been placed, to then go and shoot up at height. Now, what ends up happening is Muzz does get killed here, and that's just natural, and Fear Shadow is the one who ends up winning healer. Well, as you can see, Muzz is giving him everything, so that every single heal that he have is going to one player, which is what ends up going and wins them the game. So if it wasn't for Muzz, Shadow wouldn't be able to win heal off. He ends up going and winning heal off. He's just looking to get any heals, but he doesn't need them. Kadu, Striker and Tisco land at Outlaw Oasis, and you can tell that they've practiced this drop, because as you can see, Kadu has the most satisfying glide I've ever seen in a competitive Fortnite match. It just looks like he is flying and not gliding. From here, he then goes and he looks for it, but he actually doesn't. What he ends up doing is he goes and uses the geyser, and from here he gets a grand total of 2 shield. Big amount of shield there, totally. But from here, he goes and he lands at the chests right here, which is very good for him, and he gets a lot of loot. Now, they go and they try to attack this team, and their first crash pad gets shot out, so then they go on third party with another crash pad. As you can see, it's just perfect right here. As you can see, Visuals gets knocked by Kadu, and that's already 1 kill. This is the type of gameplay which is enjoyable to watch in my opinion, and the best to review. From here, what ends up happening is they're spraying in, they get another kill, and then another kill, and that's basically 3 players gone, and they actually have 4 kills combined, so they got another player as well. Now from here, they heal up because they did take damage. It wasn't the most optimal. But at this stage in the game, being optimal doesn't matter. What matters is just getting the kill and relying on your aim. Now, the last player is hiding, and unfortunately, you're not able to find them quite quickly. And it just shows how clone scouting is one of the best methods of hiding and just playing the game at the highest level. Now, eventually, they remember, wait, clone scouting, and then they get the kill. They're in the end game right here, they time it and they go for a height play using a crash pad and jumping all the way up to height. Now, they don't manage to get full height, but they end up chopping out height, which is pure bot's trail, and then they go all the way up to height. However, as you can see, Malibuca is actually working, and from right here, double edit down, killed. So now, he's out the game, and that's his entire trio out the game as well. And now, all they're doing is they're dropping down, and they're just looking to kill any player they can, pressing every single person up on height. And as you can see, it's working. People are dying, and everyone is unable to go and cope. From here, they end up dropping down even more, but still staying on height. Now, Disco goes into Storm, gets stuff, and then knocks another player, and he just goes on a rampage here, I believe. From here, they fizz. Another player's coming through, and it just doesn't go well for him. Gets sprayed, and they win the game just like that. The last game of FNCS is won by Chari, Kami, and iDrop. Now, Chari lands on this chest right here, and he shoots a trio out the sky. Now, he's able to get good tags onto one, and end up to kill Pump out of the sky completely. From there, he tries to get other kills, but he can't. So he ends up getting a knock onto Pump, which messes them up off board completely, instantly. And from there, he's just farming. Now, Kami has landed east of Shining Span, and has gotten the Hammer AR and the Veiled Precision SMG, and now he's looking to get a shotgun. Now, he ends up dropping the green hammer for the grey hammer. I don't know why he did that, but he ends up going and launching into the middle of Shining Span, where he's then gonna go and farm mats up completely. Now, in the end game here, iDrop is able to go and get a kill onto Marius, and after getting that, the Siphon is what's keeping him alive in Storm, and from there, they're on height like every other winning team. And Pixie is contesting height, but iDrop is just much better, and they can't get height onto him. So, from here, what ends up happening is Zone starts to pull back, and they're just controlling height and looking to spray down when they can. From here, they're spraying down and then just controlling height, and no other team can stop them. They end up dropping down, and for Doxy gets killed, and they get hit by Storm Sickness, but it doesn't matter much. They end up just spraying down, and they're just dominating the entire game. Right here, no other team can actually do anything. There's 7 players left for when you don't include them, and then iDrop just jumps down, and it's a risky play, but it's what wins them the game. Right here, he's just looking to get any kill that he possibly can. Seti gets knocked, and then he's looking down, he goes, and Panzer gets killed, and there's only Carly and Cooper left in the game. And from here, all they're doing is they're just looking down, and they're able to get a kill onto Cooper. Now, iDrop is one of the best fraggers, and they end up winning the game from here. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.